After Warren Buffett received the rejection letter from Harvard, he looked so down that the people around him started to worry.
Come on, Warren, don't be so down. There are plenty of other colleges.
But Harvard is the most prestigious.
They said you were too young, right?
Yeah. Then just wait. Find something else to do for now. Give it a little time, then apply again.
That takes too long. Donald, you know, time is too valuable to just let it go to waste.
Next time you go to the interview, just wear this fake mustache.
No way!
Hey! Don't make that face at me, Warren!
Every night, Warren would pick up a book and read. He had several favorites, but the one he loved most was The Intelligent Investor. It was a book about the art of buying good businesses at the right price. That night, he sat alone with that book, turning the pages one by one, quietly thinking to himself.
Did I miss something?
The same old book, the same familiar pages. And yet, for some reason, it calmed him more than he expected. But then, when he turned to the final pages of the book, to the author bio, Warren suddenly went still, because his eyes had landed on a single line. Benjamin Graham was an investment professor at Columbia University. Warren stared at those words. The dim look in his eyes from just moments earlier began to change little by little.
If the person I want to learn from is here, then why am I still so fixated on somewhere else?
He gently closed the book. Then he picked up Harvard's rejection letter and read it again. The words on the page were exactly the same. But to him now, they no longer meant the same thing. Warren picked up a blank sheet of paper and began writing a letter to Columbia Business School. The letter was simple and sincere. He wrote that he deeply admired Graham's ideas, so much that he had read his work more than 100 times, and that he wanted to study at Columbia so he could learn directly from Graham. After Warren sent the letter, the acceptance letter came back quickly, and this time there were no words saying, "too young." There were only the words, "welcome." New York, 1950. Warren was now 20 years old. He had moved to New York, renting a small, cheap room in Manhattan. He lived simply, cutting costs wherever he could. At that moment, he had only one goal: to take in as much knowledge as possible before going back. On his first morning in Graham's class, Warren was incredibly excited to be studying under the teacher he admired most. He found that the classroom was not large at all, and there were only a few dozen students. Graham walked into the room quietly. After greeting everyone briefly, he began to teach.
In the short run, the stock market is like a voting machine. People vote with emotion. They vote on the news, they vote on fear. But in the long run, it is a weighing machine. In the end, intrinsic value is what decides.
Warren looked up at once. Those words were not new to him. They were what he had believed all along.
Do not buy just because other people are excited. Do not buy because the crowd is running. Buy because you know what that business is worth. You must buy a business, not the excitement of the market.
Graham slowly walked to the front of the room, then wrote a single phrase on the board. Margin of safety.
Remember these words well. Margin of safety. If you believe a business is worth $100, you should not buy it at 100. you should buy it at 60. And if you can get it at 50, even better. Because the world never moves exactly the way we expect. People can be wrong. The market can be wrong too. But if you buy cheaply enough, those mistakes will not wipe you out.
The classroom fell silent. Warren stared quietly at the words on the board. Margin of safety. From that moment on, those words stayed in his head. He felt as if he had finally found the very thing he had been searching for all along. As the days went by, Graham began to remember the young man from Omaha, because nearly every time they met, Warren had another question for him, always asking with the same eager intensity.
Professor, what is the easiest way to find good stocks?
Moody's Manual.
What is that?
It is an encyclopedia that gathers raw financial data from companies all across America. Everything you need to make a decision is already collected there. If you are interested, go take a look in the university library.
Then what is the hardest way?
Moody's Manual again.
Wait, what do you mean by that, Professor?
You'll understand soon enough.
From that point on, after class, Warren would bury himself in the library and stay there until they finally told him to leave. One hand was on Moody's Manual. The other was busy writing down anything interesting in his notebook.
The library is now closed. Please make your way out, students.
Sorry, ma'am. I'm leaving right now. Oh, by the way, could I borrow these newspapers and take them home?
No, you may not. They are free to read here, but they cannot be taken out.
I'll bring them back first thing tomorrow morning. No means no. Those are the rules. I understand.
Because of that, every evening before heading back to his room, Warren would usually stop and buy a business newspaper to take with him. Some days, one paper, some days two, some days even more. He had known since he was a child that the same piece of news, when written from different desks, never came out exactly the same. If you wanted the clearest view, you had to read from many sides and then think it through for yourself. He read them while eating dinner, then compared the details from each paper one by one. After that, he matched them against the notes in his notebook, copied from Moody's Manual. By day, he was a student. By night, he became a young analyst, quietly training himself in his own way. In the end, Warren had a list of stocks. They all had one thing in common. They were extremely cheap stocks that the market had overlooked. Little by little, he began putting his own savings into them, a little at a time, a little at a time.
Hi, Dad. Do you remember that stock I told you about the other day? If it's trading around $60, please buy 5 shares for me. And if it drops another 5%, buy 3 more shares. But if it hasn't reached that price today, don't chase it. Just do it exactly like that, Dad. Thanks.
It may have seemed like only a small step in the eyes of the world, but for Warren, it was one of the biggest steps of his life. During the summer break, Warren went back home to Omaha. He told his father what studying at Columbia had been like.
Professor Graham is amazing. I really think his ideas are brilliant.
Well, well. Who would have thought the boy who once did not want to go to college would end up talking about college like this?
Doris, that was ages ago. Why do you keep bringing it up?
Are you raising your voice at your sister?
Ah! Don't run! Get back here and let me get you back!
All right, two. Stop playing around for a second. I have something to tell you.
Stop! Didn't you hear what Dad said?
What is it?
Tomorrow evening, there's going to be a party at the Thompsons' house. I want you both to come with me.
Yay! A party! I love parties!
I think I'd rather stay home. Things with a lot of people just aren't for me.
Warren, I really want you to come. You'll be finishing school soon, and before long, you'll have to start working. Getting to know more people is always useful.
All right.
The following evening, 1 hour before the party was set to begin,
Doris, are you ready yet? Dad asked me to come get you.
Just give me 5 more minutes.
there has long been an old saying, when a woman says 5 minutes while getting ready, it never really means 5 minutes. By the time Doris finally came downstairs, more than 50 minutes had passed.
Mom, do I look pretty? You look beautiful, sweetheart. Where's Dad?
He already drove over. That's what happens when you take forever. At this rate, we'll have to walk there ourselves.
Then we'll walk. The Thompsons' house is only a short walk away anyway. And don't tell me you're seriously going to a party wearing that same silly outfit as always.
Oh, leave me alone. It's just a party in the neighborhood.
You'll regret it.
What is there to regret?
And just a few minutes later, Warren really did have something to regret. Because the moment he arrived at the party with his sister, he saw a young woman who made his heart beat out of rhythm in a way it never had before.
Who is that?
Susan. Don't you remember? You met her many times when you were little.
Hey, why did you two get here so late? We're all over there talking. Want to come join us?
Sure. Are you coming?
No. You go ahead.
It was supposed to be nothing more than an ordinary, boring evening. But because of her, that night became a beautiful memory. She left a small memory in his heart, like a seed quietly planted deep inside, slowly taking root and growing in him before he even realized it. And that's where our story ends. If you enjoyed it, like, share, and follow for the next episode.